Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Today is a new moon in Cancer, at 4 degrees of Cancer, and here in the UK, it's at about 11:30 this morning. So these are powerful energies, and many like me have felt the uh, energy building. You know, when the energy is coming closer and closer to the exactitude of a full or a new moon, the energy intensifies. And I know a number of people like me have found the last few days quite an intense journey. There's a lot that is being stirred in the pot, and it's all purposeful because we are encouraged to actually bring everything ready and out and ready to release on this new moon. It's another opportunity to travel light as light and to be able to recalibrate and move forward to hold even more light quotient in the times ahead. We really are called to have hearts as light as feathers. This is the journey of life. And my goodness me, are we challenged both from an external landscape of what is unfolding on a global level for us as humanity, but also in where we are in ourselves, what it is that gets activated or triggered within us in our day-to-day lives. The calling to inner peace, the calling to find sanctuary within self requires that we don't suppress or we don't deny what's going on within us, but actually bring full attention to whatever this vessel, which is made up of the elements of earth, air, fire, and water, just like Mother Earth, to bring our attention to this and to be able to ask, what do I need to see? What is wanting to reveal itself to me in the messages that the comfort or the discomfort in the body actually has to reveal? So this new moon in water, and water can be really still and reflective, or it can be really turbulent, or it can be still on the surface with a lot of turbulence going on underneath. But it brings us into connection with our emotional selves, our emotional stories that may be filtering to the surface with the blessing of this new moon for illumination. What we bring to the surface is not held in the shadows, it's brought to the surface for illumination. And we can then process and release. This is the path. Whatever it's doing is calling us to keep our hearts open. And the roses, more than anything else, any other technology of love light that I've come across, really invite us to that journey inwards, that journey into the rose heart, into this deepest knowing, this deepest connection with the inner self. So let's have a look and see what the roses want to offer us in this particular new moon window. So we're asking for the wisdom of the roses to support us at this particular point in our journey. So the first rose that's come forward is Master Rose 2. And this is one of the three Master Roses that came forward for me in 2011 when I had a strong calling to go to Rosslyn Chapel in Scotland. There was a coding there that was weaving the divine masculine with the divine feminine to birth the third element, this element of the divine child or the pure, innocent portal of connection to source. This is the divine feminine rose. So she's calling us to bring that attention into our receptivity, our creativity, our intuitive qualities, to really honor this strengthening of the divine feminine principle as it awakens more and more fully on the planet. And this has been the pathway of the rose. This is how they came to me in the Alhambra in Granada in Spain at rose time in 2010. And many will know that actually the Alhambra is one of the seven Venus temples, Venus portals of the connection to the planet Venus on the Earth, and as such holds a real visceral connection to beauty. So this particular energy of the divine feminine, which has been the way of the rose, this is the way of the divine feminine Christed light and the re-emergence and the balancing of the masculine feminine, the right and left hand hemispheres, the brain, the in-breath and the out-breath of God. We have to receive, which is the feminine principle, in order to breathe out the inner knowing, the inner wisdom, and share who we are. Take our insights, take our intuitive downloads or guidance out into the world. It requires the activity and the action of our inner masculine, whether we're in feminine gender or masculine gender bodies. These two elements are always working within us. So this rose invites you to honor your inner feminine energy, this quality of intuition, of nurturing, of creativity and receptivity, being open to receive and to integrate in order to upshift our own internal frequency. This is also interestingly connected to the elements of water and of earth. So this is our first rose. Let's see what else wants to come forward for this particular new moon. So I'm working with the Rose Alchemy Rose Oracle for the Heart, which I know many of you listening have actually got a copy. So you would be able to pull out these three roses. And if you have the rose dragons as well, to be able to take the dragon energy as well. And energetically charge some water to sip through this new moon window. Okay, and I'll speak more about that at the end of the session. So, what's the second rose? The second rose is Rose Angel 4. Now, this rose is actually a rose called the Pilgrim, which is a David Austin rose, actually, and I've filmed her, photographed her in a beautiful rose garden, a walled rose garden at Mottisfont Abbey in Hampshire, near Romsey in Hampshire. So this rose speaks to us of the third eye, which is one of the 5 wounds to love, one of the 5 transformers of the wounds to love. So this rose sits on the third eye, and she calls us into attention to the wound of judgment, where we might judge or be judged. And her salve is forgiveness. Can we bring forgiveness to self for the places where we might have judged ourselves or judged others? I'm reminded that we have not walked a path in another's moccasins. You know, it really is about owning what is going on within us and what we might have been triggered by the actions of others. That is where we need to own rather than judge or blame another. So this salve of forgiveness, offering forgiveness to others because we don't know their story. We don't know what path they have taken to get to here, or what is the inner trigger that may have created the behaviors. What we do know is we are called to own whatever is truly ours, what comes up within us to alchemize and transmute. So this is the salve of forgiveness. Let's see what the third rose is that wants to come forward from the Rose Alchemy Oracle. And this is Rose 7. So Rose 7 is from the original 11 roses that came forward in 2010 that started this whole thing, or this whole path for me of sharing the wisdom of the roses. This is one of the roses actually that was photographed in the Alhambra. And she sits in the solar plexus. And she has this luminous, light-filled quality about her. And there's almost a fragility. And she says, don't mistake my fragility for vulnerability. This is my superpower, my sensitivity to what's going on for others, my sensitivity in what's going on for myself, and also the wisdom and when I'm finding something indigestible. The solar plexus obviously is connected into our digestion. But this is the feminine aspect of the solar plexus, the light-filled aspect of the solar plexus. She actually has a buddy that she works with, and I'm going to just see if I can there she is, quickly connect with Rose 9. So this is Rose 9, and she has come up in our readings before. And she holds a much more yang energy. She's very refined, defined, and says, don't mess with me. I have good boundaries. I know who I am. And I have a strength and a solar luminous, golden luminous quality to it. And she protects this more sensitive aspect of the feminine and of the solar plexus energies. What she does is holds that in place until it's not needed, it's not required to be the determining energy. And for many women who have shifted their energy into a very much more strong yang aspect of their expression in the world, this is going to be the dominant energy. When this is fully lived and experienced and allowed to soften, what she does is change places so that this is the quality of the feminine that works with the heart from the solar plexus, which is the feminine warrior energy, actually. For me, the feminine warrior works heart, solar plexus. The masculine warrior works from the mind and base chakra. It's a much more polarized field of frequency. So this rose then supports this luminous essence to be the front-facing energy in the world. And some people find that this is the quality that they show the world, and it's not until they come home into their inner sanctuary that they can do this and soften into the essence. I remember years and years ago, about 2011, 2012, when I was teaching this work in New York. And I ran a class at the Theosophical Society in Manhattan. And so many of the people on the group had come through the subway. They'd arrived at the Theosophical Society fully armored up. You know, that they had come in really with this energy strong. And it took about an hour in the presence of the rose for this to shift so that they had the support and were able to call on this more warrior-like energy, but were able to then set and receive. This is a much more receptive energy. The wisdom of the roses in the experience. So these are our three roses that are holding the energy for this new moon in Cancer. And you can see that they are this pink gold energy for me holds that very yin heart energy, this loving presence in the world. So I'm just going to douse with my trusty pendulum which of the rose dragons wants to come forward and add uh, wisdom to this particular reading. And my apologies if you can hear what sounds like a chainsaw going in the background. Where I'm currently living, there is barely a day when somebody's not doing some work on their house. There we go. So, interestingly, the rose dragon that's come forward is the elemental rose dragon of air. Now, air and fire are both the yang currents uh, in the elemental energies. They connect with the air and the fire connect with the Pingala energy lined through the body, and the water and the earth with the Ida. So what she's doing is bringing a balancing energy into the reading with these three beauties, but also reminding us that it is the air that stirs the water, stirs across the waters, but it's the mental aspect, this air element. So be aware during this new moon, of what insights might come, what there might be received um, through this receptivity. And if you find that your inner waters are in a turbulent state, just ask the air element to bring a greater balance and ease. I hope that's been of interest. And as I say, if you have the elemental if you have the rose dragon set or the rose alchemy oracle, pick out these three roses and get yourself a glass of water, ideally spring water, and sit them on these roses. And I just allow 10 minutes and allow the energy to be absorbed into the water, and then sip a little sip of self-love and allow the water to be absorbed at a cellular level, which is what this shift in the structuring of the water that the roses offer. What else have I got to tell you? Just remind yourselves when everything gets stirred up, when the inner waters get stirred up, just place two hands on your heart. Perhaps recall a rose, or even draw a rose from the Rose Oracle and place it on your heart. And just breathe and know that all is well. We can only hold the highest frequency of light that we can. We are acupuncture points of light, beautifully placed on the planet. Wisdom carriers, carriers of ancient keys and codes, ancient ways of the rose. The way of the rose is the path of beauty, truth, and love. And sometimes we just need to be reminded that that is our essence, and that is what we're here to hold. And just to say that I've got some new courses that I will be offering in the next couple of months. They will be up on the website. There's some work that's being done on the website at the moment, so on my Mandalas of Love website. So it's not quite as together as it might be. And there'll be some work with the Rose Dragons that is coming up. And I am also speaking on the Rose Dragon, the Dragon Thunder Summit on the 13th of July. So do look out for that. There'll be information on that on the newsletter. And I'm working on the foundation of a pilgrimage, an inner online pilgrimage path with the roses to offer from the autumn equinox to the spring equinox. So there's good things ahead. Anyway, I wish you new moon blessings and go well. Bye for now. Bye bye.